When I was 16, I was dating this girl for about 9, 10 months. And it got to the point where her dad intervened and split us up. There was no arguing, no fighting. He just came in and shut things down, told her she could never speak to me again. And that was around the same time that Andrew Tate was blowing up. And for better or for worse, my little 16-year-old brain had the thought, wouldn't it be nice if I made more money than her dad in the next year? And of course, he wasn't poor, middle class family. But for whatever reason, I thought it was a good idea. And when I was 15, I had started a side hustle of detailing cars. So I just took what I had and started running with it. And now we're kind of here. So I set a goal for 2023 to hit $100,000 that year. And I almost doubled it. At the end of the year, I was sitting at like 180 some $1,000. So very, very close to 200,000. Absolutely smashed it. By March, I had made over $10,000 a month, and in September had hit $25,000 a month. I had 2 detailing vans, company trucks that I had bought. One I bought with cash, the other I financed, and 2 crews of employees. Literally from August to November of last year, I wasn't even working. I was just picking up phone calls, sending my guys off for jobs, and making sure everybody was happy. But why did I choose detailing? I mean, for me, it was just a smarter way to make money in the summer of 2022. That was when I was 15, just before we broke up. We broke up probably 3 months after I started that business. And I was making nothing, right? I was making a couple $100s a week, which for me was better than getting a part-time job at a place that I hated. And the reason why I chose it was because I could start it with $500. The last video I made was literally about how to make a detailing business from scratch with $500. So that's what I did. And most of the content on my channel is going to be very fast-paced. It's going to be about how to do what I did and showcasing that part of my journey. But I've kind of gotten to the point where I want to produce some content that's just kind of sit down, just talking, right? And maybe in the next video, I'll make a full story on my detailing business from zero to where I am now. But I want to make sure that what I'm putting out is authentic as well, that I'm getting to the point where it's not only about the views. I don't have monetization turned on at this point. It's really about connecting with people. And if I seem like someone that is absolutely smashing it, I'm almost 18, right? I'm doing 20,000 a month. That seems crazy, but I want to make sure that it's within reach for people. I want to make sure that it's authentic. So that's where we're at now. I'm going to be putting some stuff out that's more in line with just me, right? Less highly produced, more sit down. And if you enjoy what I have to say, then watch it. If your attention span can't handle it, then I'm sorry, but I guarantee you there's going to be some gems hidden in this kind of video. But as far as the money is concerned, it's really not as much as you initially would think. You would think $20,000 a month at 17, almost 18 is absolutely absurd. And of course it is, right? All of my friends are making $2,500. I got some that are making $4,000 a month that have some solid full-time office jobs after they graduated high school. Really smart kids. But for where I'm at right now, it really doesn't seem like that much. And the reason why is because profit margins are about 70 to 80%, which is pretty darn good, right? I'm still taking home over $15,000 a month, but I'm pumping all of that back into the business. Like, I have not bought anything crazy for myself. I know most kids in my position would want to buy the crazy car. They would want to spend a ton of money on clothes, and I'm wearing some decent stuff, but I don't buy clothes from Gucci, right? I don't wear designer. Most of this is from Target, right? And when I was 15 and I started the business, and when I was 16 and we broke up, I thought, wow, when I reemerge, right, I'm going to go into monk mode. I'm going to hunker down. But when I reemerge, I'm going to have a crazy car. I don't know, maybe like a really nice Mustang or something like that. And I'm going to be balling out of control, and I'll be able to show them. The funny thing is I haven't seen my ex or her dad for 2 years, so they don't even have an idea. But once you get the ball rolling with making money, even while you're young, you'll start to understand that it's more about being smart with the money than it is about being crazy. And of course, at some point, I'll buy a nice car. The car that I have, well, I'm looking at probably buying this year is a Jaguar F-Type. But those you can get like a 2015, 2016 for 35, 40 grand, which is super nice for my age, but it's not the baller lifestyle that I had initially imagined when I started detailing, right? But the cool thing about the detailing business is it's really something that anyone can get started. Anyone can get behind it, and it can produce some really solid cash for you. But you just have to understand that it's in the early days, even once you hit $10,000, $20,000 a month, is not going to be about balling out of control. Like, that money is going to need to be put toward your future and toward furthering your dreams. Maybe you want to buy another company truck and hire people out, or maybe you want to start investing in real estate. Maybe you want to buy yourself a shop for your business, which is something that I hopefully will do this year as well. You get to that point where you're just like, dang, I need to be smart with what's coming in. And, maybe you're not going to be smart with it. Maybe you'll ball out of control for a little bit. I can't stop you, but in the end, it's not gonna result in a fruitful business if you want to keep things going. But my biggest problem last year was that I focused so much on pumping cash, I didn't learn the management skills and the money, right? So it's another reason why it didn't really seem like that much money to me. By the end of the year, I looked at my statement of how much had come in, and I looked at how much was in my bank account. I'm like, these don't add up. These don't add up at all. So then at the end of the year, I was kind of in a rush to read as many books, listen to as many podcasts, ask my mentors about financial management and planning for the future with money. So I finally have that under control. And the funny thing is, I've actually scaled the business down a little bit. So instead of 20 to 25,000 a month, we're doing about 15 right now. So literally 25% less, but I'm keeping almost 50% more money because it's about the management at this point. So that's a big lesson that I've learned, is managing money well. You can make less money and have more money if you manage it smart. And we're getting ready to run the business back up. My goal is this summer to hit 50,000 a month, and it's totally within reach. I just hired another crew for one of my vans. I'm working in the other one, and I'll eventually hire that out too. But there's a lot of lessons to be learned, right? The biggest thing about entrepreneurship for me is failing fast and learning quickly. And my whole perspective on really everything with entrepreneurship while you're young is take as much risk as possible. You know what I mean? It's like, if I end up 25 and broke, guess who else is broke? All the other 25-year-olds. So I might as well take as much risk as humanly possible. And if I fail and land on my face, I landed on my face with 10 years worth of experience and knowledge that I can then use to create the next thing and make it better. Life is all about iteration and building on the previous lesson that you learned. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm literally putting about 30% of what I'm making into crypto. And that might be insanely controversial because I know most financial advisors say, less than 10% of your net worth. But like I said, while you're young, fail fast. And I've gotten connected to some pretty high level people in the crypto space right now. And the bull market's underway. But if you're not in a position to invest in crypto or stocks, don't worry about it. But the biggest message that I can get across is starting a simple business like detailing is going to be able to take you to the next level. I mean, I literally started with $500, a wash mitt, some buckets, a pressure washer, started cleaning cars in my mom's car. She literally was dropping me off to my jobs when I was 15 before I had my driver's license. And 2 years later, I'm in a position to put almost $10,000 a month into investments and hopefully buy a real estate property this year after I turn 18. So don't discount yourself. Place good bets on yourself while you're young. Even if you're in your early 20s, I would argue that the same principles still apply. So yeah, I've gotten to the point where 20K a month is nice, but it needs to be used to further my goals and to move myself forward, to push the needle forward. And I'm in a situation right now where I think probably one of the first things I'm going to do before I ball out of control, and even then I'm probably not going to go too crazy, depends what I'm making, but I want to pay off my parents' house. I really do. And that's a big part of my story. It's been a long journey in terms of the family and the financial situation here. I'm not going to get into it too much, but it's within reach. Paying off my parents' house before I turn 20 is within reach. And that is blowing my mind every day that I think about it. Like, it's literally nuts. And I don't think I'm special in that regard either. I really don't. I think that it's something that anyone can do, no matter what age they are, if they just push really hard and work for it. But you have to be smart with the money that comes in. You really do. I know people that are making $10,000 a month that have retired their parents. Retired not in the sense of giving them $1 million cash and letting them live off of it, but seeing, okay, mom and dad make $5,000 a month. That's half of what I make. I'll be generous and give them half of what I make, right? So it's within reach. It really is. Even if your business is fairly small, if you're smart, not necessarily frugal because you need to spend money to make money, but if you're smart with what you're doing, if you're generous, if your heart's in the right place, I really do believe that you can do some very, very powerful things with even 10, 20 grand a month. And one of those powerful things is get more connections, level up, be able to invest in things that are going to build you up as an entrepreneur and over time increase that monthly amount. So then you can continue rolling that back over into more investments and investing in yourself and just building a really solid plan for the future. If I could give 3 biggest lessons from the past 2 years of entrepreneurship, and like I said, I don't know everything, but the 3 biggest keys would be: 1, heartbreak is a really good opportunity to grow and mold and shape yourself, because it feels like you've been stripped of a big part of yourself. It might be a short-term relationship, long-term relationship, but any big change in your life, something that you were very invested into, when that switches up, it feels like a part of you is missing. So now channel that energy into who you want to become and fill that part of your life with not bad habits, but with the habits of the person that you want to become. The second biggest thing is opportunities everywhere. And I've learned that. I went from having almost no connections, like literally 0 millionaires in my phone, to 2 years later, it's a couple dozen millionaires in my phone, some of which I talk to almost daily. Go out to lunch with some of my clients that are very successful, learn so much from them. So opportunity is literally everywhere, especially if you can take something as simple as detailing and multiply that and spend all of your time working on growing the business. Because then you can channel all of your time, effort, and energy not into the skill of detailing or the service, but into building yourself up as an entrepreneur. And that's going to pay off big time. And the last thing is, no one's going to make it happen for you. That's just not possible, right? I can't do work for you. Now, I do some work for you, which is trying to share what I know, but ultimately it's up to you. You can take the information and you can leave it, or you can take it and you can run with it. And I remember the first time I had stumbled upon somebody doing detailing online, I was like, dang, that's crazy. And if I had never started and never taken action, would not be where I am today. Finally, community is everything. Once again, you can't have somebody else do it for you, but at the same time, you can't do it by yourself. You have to have a solid community around you. And for a lot of people, they have to seek that online. A lot of people have to find an online community because the people in their city, maybe you live in a small town, right? It's really hard to find people that are like-minded. But the good thing about the internet is it's exposed people to these ideas. It's exposed people to this idea of success and achieving more than the small town you grow up in. So a lot of times it's important to seek out those relationships. So after all of the time that I spend working on the main business, I've built a private community for guys that are really trying to push hard and unlock exponential opportunity for themselves and their families. And we host meetings every single week. It's literally just a weekly mastermind call. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and drop me a line on Instagram. Would love to give you a private invite link to that. But other than that, there's also a video I put out earlier this week, and that's on starting a detailing business with less than $500. It is everything that I used to start my business, plus everything that I wish that I knew 2 years ago to start my business. So if you're going to take action, that's not a bad spot to begin. But other than that, I would like you to let me know if you like this format. If you stuck around for this long, if your attention span was long enough, let me know. But other than that, talk soon.